Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another installment of AM Sports with Sax, Madeo, and Edwards. I've got two clowns over here, but it's okay. How's everyone doing?
It's great to be back, Ian.
Yeah, great to be back.
All
What a
right.
show we have.
Yeah. Second to last show today. We've got another one next week, so you're not getting rid of us quite yet, but let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with a story that has been just going all over, not just the sports world, but really the entertainment world and the nation as a whole. And that is the story of Clippers owner Donald Sterling and his racist comments and the NBA's ruling against him. So before we even get talking about it, let's play some clips of Sterling in case you haven't heard it yet.
Honey, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
I wish I can change the color of my skin.
That isn't the issue. You missed the issue.
What's the issue?
The issue is we don't have to broadcast it.
I'm not broadcasting anything. I don't do anything wrong.
Nobody said you did anything wrong.
I don't do anything wrong. If we ever have any issues, it's because people call you and tell you things about me that are not
Why are you
true.
broadcasting?
I'm not broadcasting
Why are you taking
anything.
pictures with minorities? Why?
What's wrong with minorities? What's wrong with black people?
Nothing.
What's wrong with these
It's like
families?
talking to an enemy. There's nothing wrong with minorities. They're fabulous. Fabulous. Because you're an enemy to me.
Why?
Because you don't understand.
I don't understand what.
Nothing.
That racism still is alive?
No, but there's a culture.
What culture?
People feel certain things. Hispanics feel certain things towards blacks. Blacks feel certain things towards other groups. It's been that way historically, and it will always be that way.
But it's not that way in my heart and in my mind.
But maybe you want to adjust to the world.
But why? If the world doesn't do anything for me and they don't make me happy.
You're right. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to argue.
I can't be racist in my heart.
And that's good. I'm living in a culture, and I have to live within the culture. So that's the way it is. That's all. I got it. I got the whole message. You live with your heart.
I don't.
You can't be flexible. You can.
I am flexible. I understand that that's the way you were raised and that's your culture, and I'm respectful and respectful.
Why do you have to disrespect them? Those are.
Who am I
the
disrespecting?
world before you.
Why am I disrespecting them?
By walking, you're perceived as either a Latina or a white girl. Why should you be walking publicly with black people? Why? Is there a benefit to you?
Is it a benefit to me? Does it matter if they're white or blue or yellow?
I guess that you don't know that. Maybe you're stupid.
All right, so that's a clip of Donald Sterling conversation with his mistress. And really, guys, what's going on there?
Well, it's disgusting, repulsive, despicable. Like I could come up with negative adjectives and just go on a rant for days about that. It's kind of it's disappointing to say the least. It's just horrible, flat out horrible. And the way I think about it, like, okay, it shouldn't come off as a surprise, like these feelings he has. If you look at, his background, the racial discrimination lawsuits and the $2.17 million settlement, refusing to rent to, black and Hispanic families and whatnot. This type of stuff should have been pointed out earlier. I'm surprised he's been affiliated with the league for as long as he has, with his feelings towards minorities. It's been wide open, pretty much. And the way I see it, man, the league had to remove him. They had to remove him. Honestly,
I just find it really funny how the NAACP was going to give this guy an award. and then all this comes out. So, I mean, he has, like in the past, he has a long history of donating to minority charities and giving game tickets to inner city children. So I understand, like, if you're gonna do all that and come out with these comments, like where this is all coming from. But Sean's absolutely right. There's no room to be racist in sports anymore. And honestly, it's Adam Silver has first test as a commissioner, and he came out being successful. Most of the owners and majority of the players wanted this to happen, and Silver made it happen. And the benefits, if this didn't happen, the Clippers, there were legitimate rumors out there that they were gonna forfeit Game 5.
Yeah.
And look at it this way: the Clipper organization will stay on the map when it comes to like signing free agents in the offseason, years to come. And Chris Paul and Blake Griffin, now they'll probably stay. Like if Silver didn't ban him, the Clippers organization would be in chaos forever. They probably would have to relocate, change name.
But you know what's funny though? He still owns the team. He has to sell it, and he's going to be making millions and millions upon millions of dollars on this.
Yeah, he's worth approximately $1.9 billion. So losing the team at his age ain't a big issue.
I mean, he's gonna be well off, but I'm perfectly fine with that as long as he's not affiliated with this league. I mean, the majority of this league is represented by a certain, demographic that you supposedly despise. Like, you should not be affiliated with the NBA whatsoever.
That's the other funny thing, though, is that he's made a killing. He's made a ton of money off of people that he hates.
Exactly.
Minorities. I mean, that's what's so ironic about this is that, like
it's like he had his perspective of the league was a perspective of a slave owner's mentality. That's how I see it.
That's almost what it's like, that he's the one making all the money, or not. He's not the only one making money. I mean, it's. I'm not saying that the players are slaves by any means, but it's just funny that that a white guy is the owner of this organization that's primarily black.
He made a big deal about JJ Redick coming too. He's like, why are we gonna pay this guy millions of dollars? Because he's a white guy. He made a big deal about that. So I don't know if that just says it all right there,
Yeah, I mean the whole Sterling thing is just so unfortunate. And okay, you mentioned a couple minutes ago that the Clippers were about to forfeit Game 5. Do you think they should have? Now, keep in mind, Game 5 came after this tape got released, but before Silver gave the punishment to Sterling. So should the Clippers have forfeited Game 5 to really make a statement?
No, I don't think so, because that'll ruin it for the fans. And in the end of the day, you're NBA players. You go out and you should play for the fans and play for yourselves. And the owner, I mean, he's the guy who oversees all operations and everything. But I don't think they really care that much about the owner when it comes to winning and all that stuff. So yeah, I think that I'm happy they went out and played Game 5. What do you guys say?
Well, in terms of that, I mean, you have to think playoffs, your season's on the line. Sure, if they were to win a championship and none of this had came out, it would have just, increased a profit for the owner, because, the franchise just becomes that more great and worth more. But, I remember it was interesting. Chauncey Billups recently came out and said if he had still been a member of the Clippers, he wouldn't have played. And you have to look at the personnel that he said he would have stood up and not played by. I mean, he would have not played regardless of how his teammates felt. If they were upset with him, so be it. I mean, if you think about it, it depends on who it is. Because I know if his teammates had been the teammates he had in Detroit, they would have stuck by him and they wouldn't have played. But you just have to look past it. Overall, you just have to look past it. I mean, sure, the way I see it is okay, he flat out said, why are you hanging around with black people, right? But he has no problem with black people as long as they're doing him a service.
It's true. Like honestly, I think the players are playing for Doc Rivers too.
Yeah.
In Game 5, they tried hard. They just came out. They were miserable from the field. They were shooting like 25% in the first quarter. They were trying. There was no way. They were not letting up. Chris Paul wants to win a ring. He wants to have a legitimate legacy throughout the whole history of the NBA. Blake Griffin wants to be that superstar for years to come. So, like, there's a lot on the line for these players. And Doc Rivers came here to win a ring, and I don't think any of this stuff was going to stand their way.
And another interesting thing Doc Rivers said in a press conference, he was saying, okay, like, the media is just waiting for the players to respond. And he's saying to himself, but they didn't do anything. Their responsibility
smart by the Clipper players.
is just to come out and play.
I think that they definitely have to play. I mean, yes, this is a big story. Don't get me wrong there. But it's taken away so much of the great playoff basketball that's been going on that I think that it's good, that they showed that people like Sterling are not going to hold up the works, and that the games are still going to go on, and they're still going to put on a show for the fans. And I think that's really what the NBA is all about. It's not about the owners and what they do with their mistresses or how they feel. It's more about the players putting on a show for the fans.
That's exactly what Stephen Curry said, and they were interviewing him at halftime in Game 5, and they were like, "Oh, what do you think about this whole Donald Sterling thing?" And he was like, "I think it's really unfortunate how it's interfering with this playoffs, with all the different playoff matchups, because this is one of the best first-round matchups that the NBA's had in years. There's a couple of Game 6s. There's about how many we have? We have the Clippers, we have OKC." Six of the 8 matchups.
Yep.
So this is a great first round. This is what the fans wanted, and all this stuff's getting in the way. Luckily on Saturday when this stuff happened, Vince Carter hit that game winner, and there was a couple good. Memphis knocked off OKC. So there was a lot of good highlights that happened, and some of that stuff was undermined by the whole Sterling situation. So Sterling is definitely impacting this
All right,
NBA playoffs.
So now another question. Doc Rivers said that he would not come back if Sterling was still the owner of the Clippers. Do you think now that Sterling has gotten a lifetime ban, Doc Rivers is back on the sidelines for the Clippers next year?
Yes, I feel like Doc Rivers remains with the Clippers organization. He's a perfect fit there in my mind. And now that you know that this guy will not be affiliated with the team anymore, the league for that matter, that you should just look past it and just continue to build the franchise up. So, yeah, Doc Rivers should stay and just do exceptional coaching as he's done from time to time. Well, not even from time to time, over and over, pretty much. Exceptional coach, great franchise. This is where he belongs.
Yeah, I totally agree with Sean's statement. I think Doc Rivers came here with an idea, and the idea was to help Chris Paul and Blake Griffin get to that next level. And right now, look what he did to DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan had the best season of his career, almost averaged a double. I think he did average a double-double a game, and he was third in the defensive voting ballot. So DeAndre Jordan has made a name for himself this year too. So this whole team has benefited from Doc Rivers, and I don't think Doc Rivers is going anywhere. He's got unsettled business to finish.
Doc's staying put. He's too much invested in the players there to move out. But another coach. Now we're gonna jump across the Staples Center. Let's say
Across the locker room.
across the locker room to the LA Lakers. They're not going to have the same coach next year. Yesterday, their head coach, Mike D'Antoni, resigned after a 27-55 season at the helm of the Lakers. Is D'Antoni to blame for their struggles?
100%. Well, not this year. This year they didn't really have a fair chance at anything.
Yeah, this
Kobe
year-
Bryant played, 6 games?
This year was just a wash.
This year was a wash. But Kobe Bryant woke up this morning with a smile on his face. He's like, "Oh, we got business next year. No more D'Antoni." So, I mean, who you see as possible coaching
Coaching? Let me see.
head coach? Who do you think's gonna come in? Maybe Brian Shaw go there. I know
Yeah.
you're a big Brian Shaw guy, and Steve Kerr looks like he's gonna get the Knicks job.
I think Shaw should go to the Knicks. I mean, I think it would make so much sense that he he was a longtime assistant under Phil Jackson, but it does look like Steve Kerr is going to be taking that job. Yeah, I mean, Kobe is a fan of Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
And when the Lakers, after Phil left, when the Lakers went with Mike Brown instead, I know Kobe was very disappointed about that. He wanted Brian Shaw to take over the helm. So I think maybe now this gives Kobe an opportunity to, kind of say to the Lakers, hey, you better put Shaw in this time. I mean, obviously your guys haven't worked out well.
The Lakers front office needs to bring in players for Kobe Bryant next year for any coach to take this job. Because right now, I don't think any coach wants to take this job knowing that this Laker team they're not depth at all. Outside Kobe Bryant, they have Nick Young on the bench and Pau Gasol, but this team is not looking like a playoff contender next year either. So, in order to bring in a good coach, they're going to need to find good players. So, hopefully they have a good offseason.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully they have a good off season. It wouldn't help to just be, another wash season for them. I mean, you got Jody Meeks, like you got Nick Young, Pau Gasol, as you mentioned, and there's Kobe, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully they can make some good off-season moves, at least become playoff bound again, and then Kobe can make a run. If not next year, the final year of his career.
Do you think Kobe has only 2 more years?
Do I think Kobe has only 2 more years? Father time. We all here know I love Kobe Bryant, so I want to say no, but realistically, I'm gonna have to say that yeah. I mean, 2 more years, and then I think Kobe's calling it quits.
I think
About a year's down on you. Just
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
no. Go ahead.
I think Kobe Bryant has 4 to 5 years left, but I think his heart says 2 years because he wants to win, and he wants to be that guy who's the reason for the winning. He wants to be the main guy. And for Kobe Bryant to be averaging 20 points a game and 6 boards and 5 assists is going to be really unlikely to maintain over a selective amount of years in 4 or 5. So I think 2 years is realistically he can maintain his body, keep it in good shape, keep him athletic, and he'll be able to score willingly. So I think 2 years is a good timetable for Kobe. I think he made a smart move.
Now, I don't know how much Kobe would go for this, but I think if he, in the future kind of takes more of a
lesser role.
I know he's not going to go for this. He wants to be the guy. But realistically, he's not going to be able to be the guy for too much longer. I mean, yeah, he's got a few more years where he could still be the number 1 threat in LA, but if Kobe wants to extend his career in a few years from now, he's gonna have to take if he wants to both be the guy and win. I don't think that's gonna happen.
The only way I can see him doing that is if 2 years when his contract's up. Only a team that I would see him going to, and I respect the decision, is maybe a team like San Antonio, where he can provide leadership and good quality minutes. Working with Pop, he probably would love that experience. That would be the only realistic situation I could see Kobe doing. But other than that,
I don't think Kobe's leaving the Lakers.
nah, he's never going to leave the Lakers.
No, he's a Laker for life.
2 years, it's over.
We'll see. Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll play you some highlights from the Pacers game 5, because that is what we're going to start off talking about on the other side of the break. So stick around.
With the series tied at 2 games apiece, a critical Game 5 for the Indiana Pacers and Atlanta Hawks in Indianapolis Monday night. And the All-Star Paul George gearing up for a big night, and he started early. George Hill kicking it out to PG on the wing, and he'll knock it down to put Indiana up 18-16. He had 12 points at the half, but